Welcome back, everybody, to Cartoon Conversations, where your lovely hosts will once again take you on a long trip full of inquisitive and topical discussions that are only topical to us because we want them to be. So shut up and sit down and accept it, you plebes. Hey, Jordan, you have anything else to add to that?
We love our viewer.
Yeah. Our viewer? Are you kidding? Oh my god.
I know that's a little bit ambitious to think we have a viewer. But
every time
we love him
talk about this, it
very
makes
much.
me feel worse and worse.
Yes. So, our first commenter will get the Jeff Award.
The Jeff Award?
Yes.
Even
for
if it's a
extraordinary Jeffness. So, continuing on, our big question for today is, what insights have we learned into Superman's character?
Yes.
Because
quite a bit happened in this episode in regards to Superman showing off a bit of emotion. And I feel like we got into a little bit of a psyche battle over here. We started to learn more about, the Man of Steel, and what how he feels about certain people.
The Man of Tomorrow isn't so forward-looking, you might say.
I'm sorry, I just coughed up a little blood. But, yeah, I would totally agree, Jordan, with that thing that you just said. That wasn't an awful pun or anything.
I thought it was good. I thought it was witty. Continuing on. So, now it's time for our episode breakdown. We open on victims fleeing the scene, which seems like a disturbingly regular thing in the DC universe.
Yeah, like when people that exist like Superman and freaking when the Flash can just shoot around the Earth. I really wonder, how like basic villains and criminals just do what they do.
I do not want to be an actuary in the DC universe. That job must suck.
Well, this one wasn't a basic villain. It was Parasite, and he was pretty OP in this moment.
So we open up on Elastic Man on the ground.
Yes.
Having been defeated. This is Plastic Man, great defeater of Mordru the Merciless.
Mordru the Merciless, yeah.
Merciless, the undefeatable villain. So I guess Elastic Man just is really good against magic or something.
Yeah.
He's got like +3/+3. So.
Thank you, I guess.
Yeah. So. So Parasite is fighting the remaining hero, Metamorpho. They fight, but even Metamorpho can't stand against Parasite, who drains his powers, finishing the battle.
Yeah, Metamorpho is pretty big pimping on like all sides. He had a big role in the last series.
Yeah, he did. He got a whole episode.
Yeah, we saw his creation, in fact.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff going down. But in this one, he's just kind of getting slapped around a bit.
A little bit.
Yep.
So then, thankfully, we hear a familiar beat from Batman, the animated series.
Oh.
And you know who's coming. It's friggin' Batman.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Who else would come from the Batman animated series?
So.
It's gotta be Wonder Woman.
Batman appears, he throws an exploding batarang at Parasite, which explodes, and has no effect. So you know this guy is real, because he just took a thing of C4 to the chest.
Yeah, he's pretty good at that. Whole not dying or being phased in any way, shape, or form.
So, Parasite then attacks Batman with fire, which is known to be a little more effective than batarangs, and parries all of his attacks.
Oh, yeah.
Batman then calls Martian Manhunter for backup, and Martian Manhunter is just delighted.
I just like...
That made his moment.
Yeah, seriously, Martian Manhunter just looks at him and is like, oh, you need help? You never asked for help, Batman. Aren't you the great Batman? And it's like, seriously, man, we're heroes and we're trying to save the world. And
Martian Manhunter's having fun.
Yeah. I feel like, Batman said something in the mess hall or something else, and it just really ticked off Martian Manhunter, so this is his passive-aggressive way of getting back at him.
That'd be fantastic.
It's like, oh, it's Batman. You don't need any help. He's just kind of twiddling his thumbs, waiting for Batman to say, I'm sorry or whatever.
Yeah. So, Martian Manhunter calls Superman to back him up, but he's busy with the whole plane falling out of a sky situation.
Oh yeah,
And
that tends to.
let me just talk about this. The animation for Superman is different than it usually is. He's a little more top heavy. He looks more like he did in Superman the animated series. You see the definition on his muscles. It looks really cool. He looks like someone you don't want to mess with.
I noticed that. It was really crazy. He was really jacked in that one scene.
In all of the scenes, he comes across a lot more weighty. You see why he is the heavy hitter on the league in this episode more than any other one. So, that's pretty cool. So,
it was crazy.
He says he'll help as soon as he deals with the plane falling out of the sky situation.
Yeah.
But thankfully, a red blur speeds past him. After setting down the plane, Superman takes off to stop Parasite, but when he gets there, Captain Marvel, the world's mightiest mortal, is tying Parasite in a bow. Which is a nice touch, hinting that he's a child because he's 6, and that's right around when you learn how to tie a bow.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, is he really 6?
He's 6.
Huh.
In this version. Sometimes he's 8, sometimes he's also a homeless orphan.
Was he going to, middle school, though?
I thought he was going... Yeah, it was weird. Because they were teaching about World War II, but they said he was 6. So, I don't know.
That's weird.
Oh, they say he's 10. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that makes a bit more sense if he's 10.
He's 10, so what? He'd be in 4th or 5th grade. In 5th grade, you could be learning about World War II. So, okay. So he's 10. Which is not that far away from learning how to tie a bow well. I thought it was a nice touch, because if you know he's a kid, it's just a nice little nudge to the fans. But if you don't, it makes perfect sense for him to be tying him in a bow. It just shows that you're confident. I don't know. I liked it. It was a nice touch.
It shows a lot about the fact that he's very childish, and this is just a thing that he does. This is how he. This is his. He's so competent that he can do that. But it's really not because he's showing off. It's because he's goddamn 10 years old. Yeah. He's a child.
Yeah. So I like it because you can interpret it two ways. If you don't know the character, I love it. Introducing these new characters, they do such a good job with stuff like that.
Right.
Because this is the first introduction of a lot of people to Captain Marvel, I think. So they're all congratulating him. Elastic Man saying even Superman couldn't have done a better job. Just as Superman arrives.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Yeah. So that's not a great moment for Elastic Man.
Yeah, we were just talking about you, man. Yeah, totally. Please don't shoot lasers at me from your ass. That would just suck.
Yes.
For him. So after that happens, we get to see a bit more of Captain Marvel chumming it up with all the other superheroes.
No. We need to talk about the super awkward introduction between Superman and Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, it's so great for you to meet me. I'm your hero. I mean, you're my hero.
You're my biggest fan. No, I mean, I'm your biggest fan. And just the look on Superman's face was, if you were hit by a car at this very moment, I wouldn't be phased.
Yeah.
It was
I would thank the car.
There was so much content there, and it was nuts. I was amazed. I was staring at him and thought, wait a minute, you're Superman? You're supposed to be happy about this. You're supposed to be you like it when there are other freaking people going around and saving the day. You're not the kind of guy that hates being upstaged and all that crap.
But that's the thing. Superman is, in many ways, the most human superhero. He's the most down-to-earth. And people, when you hold up a mirror to their faults, get defensive and they get angry.
So you
in many ways, Captain Marvel is everything Superman is, except more. He has that youthful naivete. He has that awesome power. He has the They almost look the same. In fact, the story of how Captain Marvel was created is they said, I want you to make Superman, except make him an 8-year-old kid. That was the entire instruction they got, and they created Captain Marvel.
That'll do it.
Yeah. So, in many ways, we hate most our own faults in others. And Captain Marvel is going to be shining a mirror to Superman in ways I don't think he'd like. I don't think there's any way those two would like each other.
Well, I mean, like, you really can't stop Captain Marvel because he's already absolutely obsessed with Superman.
I think there's a difference between liking somebody and worshipping someone.
Captain
Marvel definitely does the former.
But worship is a lot of like to the extreme. So if you want to get in, like, super philosophical, maybe you're right, but I would very much disagree.
I would argue that there's a big difference. Because I don't think there'd be a situation where Captain Marvel and Superman would be equals, that they would get along.
I don't know, I feel it's like once again, because of the fact that he's a kid, but Superman would totally be Captain Marvel's mentor. Oh my god. In a heartbeat, in any other situation, if Captain Marvel went up to Superman, in like if because Superman was off in space and Captain Marvel came in and kind of, was showboating and grandstanding all over Superman's legacy and all that crap. But if Captain Marvel came up to Superman and was initiated that way, Superman would look down on him like he was a lost puppy and he needed to be nurtured. Oh my! If you can't see that, like, I could totally see him being like, this is a kid, and he's strong, and he's got justice in his heart, and all he wants to do is be a hero, and I'm gonna look out for him. I can see that, like, shipping confirmed in my head right there.
I think you're right that they could have a mentor-mentee relationship.
Yeah.
That with their personalities, if Superman was clearly the one in charge and he was teaching Captain Marvel,
and he would come to his birthday parties.
No question about respect, especially if Superman knew Captain Marvel's secret identity. I think they would get along well.
Yeah.
With them meeting like this as supposed equals, I think it's destined to be bad.
Destined to be bad. Because of the fact that the stars align to, make the atmosphere crap.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really all it took. But, Captain Marvel is a very, in his comics, he's a good guy.
He's
a that's the whole point about that. And I feel like Superman would have such a hard time hating him.
I don't think he would ever, on an intellectual level, Superman would like Captain Marvel. But have you ever met someone who just rubs you the wrong way?
Yeah.
Like, every word they say is like nails on a chalkboard.
Oh my god. You just have a face that's so punchable.
That you like them on an intellectual level, that they're cool. You see nothing wrong with them. But just every word from their mouth is like,
I will just fucking wreck your face if you say one more thing about how pleasant this day is.
Yes, exactly.
It's just
I think that would be the relationship they had if they tried to do the equals thing.
Yeah. Alright, so besides that, carrying on.
Yes. So, we now hit the credits.
Contours to the tip.
Yes. So we open on an armored car where Parasite's being taken away.
It's being shipped out. Go fuck yourself, Lan.
Reporters, including Lois Lane, which is kind of cool, interview Captain Marvel. Yeah. Then Captain Marvel accidentally endorses Lex Luthor.
Well, it doesn't endorse him, but what is it? To every single stupid reporting service, that means endorsement. He's saying that he is happy that Lex Luthor is now good enough to be to be running for president. That he's on the good side to the point where he's running for president.
It's cute that he thinks there's a good side.
Yeah, he doesn't say that it's a good thing Lex Luthor is running for president. He's saying that Lex Luthor has become a good guy, and we know this because he's running for president. Like that's what he's saying. He's saying like matter of fact.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not that.
Yeah, he is a little kid's faith.
Yeah.
In society, that's really cute, and it's another great little hint that he's not quite as old as he appears.
Yeah. There's another thing. He says golly, and I don't know, but he might say gee whiz at some point in time.
I think he does say gee whiz. That's like his catchphrase.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like, are you kidding me, mate? Yeah. But like, that's another thing, is they wrote his dialogue so well.
They did.
It was fantastic listening to how he talked about and talked to all the superheroes. He was such a kid. He was when talking to Superman, he said, yes, sir, no, sir. You know, he was very, like, Superman is completely above him. He was, when talking to the officials and the reporters, he was totally overwhelmed by this, like scratching his head, laughing a bit, being all happy about goddamn everything. It was so cute. Like, you can't hate him. It's adorable. And oh my God. I don't know. I really, really lost my crap when watching this episode.
Yeah, no, the dialogue here is so good, and I really credit that to the teleplay was written by J.M. DeMatteis, who we've seen a lot of really thoughtful, great stuff come out of, but it never quite all comes together.
Oh.
And the story is by Dwayne McDuffie, who's the lead writer here. He actually came up with the character of Static Shock. Oh. And he's a brilliant big picture guy. So I think this combination is why this episode turned out so well.
Ah, all right, I could see that.
I think it was really a great combination of strengths here.
Yeah. I truly enjoyed the fact that like, there are so many parts of this episode that just made it good. The fact that the fight choreography was great, in my opinion. There was so much...
Fight choreography was so good.
Yeah, oh my God, it was great. There was so much, like, well-placed destruction. Like, it wasn't meaningless. It all had a point to it.
Everything led to something else, yeah. It was really well thought out. And I really credit it to the fact that they had the A-team on this episode. This is a serious A-team. You had the biggest director, Dan Reba. You had the main writer, Dwayne McDuffie. And then you had teleplay by the guy I love, J.M. DeMatteis.
Right. You had the big shots behind the pens, writing out miracles, making no goddamn sense.
So, he goes back to Fawcett City, and then he says Shazam, and we get the big reveal.
Yes.
That he's actually a 10-year-old.
Bum, bum, bum.
Although there's no lightning. I don't know why this time. Every other time he turns, he's struck by lightning like normally. But now he just kind of explodes outward. Yeah, it was a little weird, but maybe he can like control if the lightning comes down because he wants to preserve his secret identity.
I don't know. I feel like it might have been just a choice of visuals, because if he was struck with lightning right there at his appearance, people might have been a little confused.
Yeah.
Even though that's how he does it,
Yeah. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I just thought it was... I think it's kind of cool that he can control how he changes, so he can do like a stealth change when he needs to.
Stealth change.
Yeah.
Stealth getting struck by lightning.
Yeah. So I thought it was kind of cool. Because in the age of cameras, it seems unlikely that he could keep a secret identity otherwise.
Right.
So,
if Spider-Man can run through a crowded street while, ripping his shirt open and clearly showing everyone that he's got this freaking, he's got his outfit underneath it. You saw the movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? I just, if that can happen, then, give the kid freaking, stealth mode... stealth mode electricity. Stealth mode lightning. There we go.
Yeah. So he goes back into his classroom where they're learning about World War II. Also, I'd like to point out the portrait of George W. Bush is back. Apparently, all classrooms in the DC universe have portraits of George W. Bush. I went back to kid stuff. It's a different classroom. The only 2 classrooms we've seen have portraits of George W. Bush.
Huh. I don't remember seeing that. Although, like, I didn't really look intensively, of course. Intensively. I
just noticed it out of the corner and I thought it was hilarious. This was June 2005.
It's a little upsetting, but yeah, it's fine.
I wonder if just Dwayne McDuffie is a Republican or something.
Or maybe it was just like a thing of the times or something.
It was 2005. Everyone hated Bush.
Right,
his approval rating was
not
the
like
low
not like
40s,
saying that,
which isn't actually that low, but
never mind. Regardless, carry on.
All right. So,
president heads, besides.
Yes. So they're studying World War II, which still seems like it's a little bit old for the age of those children, but okay. So now we cut to the Watchtower. There, Captain Marvel says hi to everyone. He is super excited to be there.
And he's just like rolling 20s on charisma.
Yeah.
He's just going around literally shaking hands. He high-fives Captain Atom. Oh my god.
We've had about as many Dungeons and Dragons references in there about the combined times we've actually played Dungeons and Dragons.
Every time I freaking try to start something, one of my friends always ends it in like the worst way. I tried to have one happen and what was it? My friend immediately, we're in like a bar or whatever. It's like, all right, we're going to start doing everything that we're going to start doing. And he's like, all right, roll to throw a chair at the nearest person. But you motherfucker, it's not how you start this shit. Oh man, it was awful. But it was really funny. So I was happy about that.
All right. So.
Yes.
So yeah, he says hi to some of our favorite characters who don't say hi back because otherwise they'd have to pay voice actors to do that.
You're right.
So also he goes into the break room, I guess, and Vigilante and Shining Knight are playing chess. And the pieces are just in a place that makes no sense. There aren't even 2 kings on the board. I love Dwayne McDuffie, but this is the second time he has included chess in his scripts. And the second time, it has not even remotely made sense where they put the pieces.
It's just been whatever.
This time, they didn't even have the correct number of kings.
I just let it go.
I just find it really funny that these people were smart enough to get Hollywood writing jobs, but they apparently never learned how to play chess. It's funny.
Just let it go. Just let it be.
Yeah. So, actually, it's probably Dan Reba, who was the director on both times. It was probably him, not Dwayne McDuffie. So, Black Canary and Green Arrow are also hanging out there, which is sweet, although they weren't going to pay to animate them to move in the background.
Right.
So, they just kind of sit there, and Green Arrow looks especially wooden. But it's fine. It's nice to see them together.
What would you need them to move for, Jordan? They're perfectly fine just standing there being portraits.
Yeah. I was okay with it. I thought it was a nice touch that they were together. So, Captain Marvel is really excited until Superman appears behind him all Batman style.
Yeah.
And he just says to Captain Marvel, "Come with me." This is not good for our sensibly caped hero. He goes to a room with the entire Justice League steering committee.
You got the big wigs all up, surrounded on a little table over there, watching him, so you know this shit's important.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
So, that's where Superman shows them the paper with the headline of the Daily Planet, which from what I understand is like the equivalent of the New York Times in their world. You know, just the best newspaper in the country.
The best. It's the best.
Saying that Captain Marvel endorsed Lex Luthor. So...
which is also...
things are not good for Captain Marvel right now.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he fucked up.
Yep. So Superman upbraids Captain Marvel. He's angry. Captain Marvel is no longer allowed to give statements without prior legal approval. Also, this is clearly not about Lex Luthor. He talks about Justice League neutrality and being careful what you say. But if you let somebody talk long enough, they always say what they're really talking about. And he finishes with a line that makes it clear it's 100% about the fact that it's Luthor.
Yeah.
He said, and we don't
he
endorse
goes into,
supervillains for the president's
sometimes
sake.
life just isn't that simple, and people don't change.
Yeah. So, that's what it is.
Yep.
Alright, so. So, the Justice League Steering Committee is all with Superman now.
Steering Committee.
We now cut to news coverage of Lex Luthor's run. He's on an interview where he's talking not about creating a utopian community. Superman is watching, and it's kind of sweet that he still watches cable news because he's like 80. Nobody watches cable news anymore.
You are so on about this fact.
Okay, have you seen the commercials?
All right,
it's like medicine for old people, Viagra, and then more medicine for old people.
All right, all 5 viewers, like, before we talked about this episode, before we got into this was the thing that he brought up, and this was the thing that just kept happening and happening, and
I think it's
just
sweet. It's really funny.
So funny to listen to Jordan complain about.
Okay, I really like politics, and I just can't stand watching cable news.
So, oh my god.
So, continuing on.
I just, accept it and let it happen.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So, Superman's watching the news, and Captain Marvel comes up to him because he has no survival instincts.
Oh my god,
just
you're right, yeah. He comes up and he's like, hey, what you watching? And Superman's like, no. Yeah. Quiet. Now.
Superman is not happy about this friendliness.
Oh my god. So it's really funny. I absolutely love the fact that he did that.
And the animation on Superman is once again fantastic. 1, he looks so muscled. Like a threat. And 2, the expressions on his face show his emotion. And you can see him controlling his anger. Which is a nice character beat for Superman, that for all the fact that Captain Marvel speaking is like nails on a chalkboard to him, but he is going to be polite.
It's absolutely the worst thing ever.
Yeah. So. So he does that, and they're talking about it, and they have this kind of cold proxy fight about Lex Luthor, and about if people can change.
Right. Cold proxy fight.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, Captain Marvel being a 10-year-old and feeling like everyone has that little something in them that they can change, that, everyone has a little bit good, and Superman having absolutely none of it and saying, I know this guy. This guy is just shit tier right here.
I think Superman generally believes that. He just makes an exception for Lex Luthor because he hates him so much.
That's another thing. We'll get to that later. But yes, very much so.
Yeah.
So, he knows all about Lex Luthor.
The important part that comes out of that interview is that Lex Luthor invites Superman to come to a charity ball because he's a genius.
Yeah, right.
Which that was such a great political move.
He's a prick.
And Captain Marvel is delighted. Superman, less so.
Yep.
So, we cut to him working off some aggression with Batman. They chat as they fight. And it's fantastic. The chemistry they have together.
Yeah.
I couldn't transcribe it because it would have taken too much time, but I'll give you the... So Batman says, "You're kind of hard on the Boy Scout."
Right.
Boy Scout, then Superman goes, "I thought I was the Boy Scout."
Yeah!
So did I, until I met the kid.
Yeah! And he's like, absolutely, they're just chatting away while beating the shit out of these... I think these guys are supposed to be mocks of Marvel villains.
Oh, is that what they are?
Yeah, have you ever heard of the Wrecking Crew?
Oh, you're right, that is what they are.
Yeah, they very much resemble the Wrecking Crew.
That's awesome. Nice catch.
Yeah. Like, they actually have, they do that a lot. They had what is it? In Young Justice, they had one of the characters, one of the earlier, like, little minor villains, was pretty much Spider-Man.
Nice.
Like that's just what he was. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So.
Regardless.
Yeah, and they just have amazing teamwork. The animation in this is once again fantastic.
Yes.
You see each fight move flows into the next. And how Batman and Superman have totally different fighting styles, but they but they work perfectly together. It makes me wish they had done a World's Finest show to spin out of this. That would have been amazing.
A World's Finest. I like the fact that there's just, like, so much destruction, and it's very detailed. Like, the one that Batman was fighting gets launched into a telephone booth, the thing gets overturned, shattered, and it gets kind of, like, launched into a certain part of it.
Yeah.
It was very interesting,
They spent, like, 3 weeks animation budget on this episode.
Yeah.
It was just a joy to watch.
They did a lot.
I don't know why they chose this episode to throw their budget at, but, oh my god, it was so good.
Yeah.
So.
And they're just going back and forth while beating the shit out of a bunch of villains.
Yeah, and
the Batman line was my favorite. I can't remember which one started the conversation. It's like, what do these guys want anyway? I don't know. Take over the world or something?
Or rob banks. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And they bounce off each other verbally and physically so well. I thought that the Black Canary, Green Arrow versus Huntress and the Question was going to be the best fights of the season. Mm. But this is the new best fight of the show. Oh my god.
The little witty
fight choreography was so good. My hat's off to Dan Reba, who directed this episode.
Your hat.
So good.
I don't wear a hat, but I'm sure it would have been off.
Yes. So Captain Marvel just clearly rubs Superman the wrong way, is what we're supposed to take about this.
Yeah.
But everyone in the league likes Captain Marvel.
Oh my god.
They just don't say hi to him because they don't want to pay those voice actors.
Yeah, because they don't want to pay the voice actors. Because he's fantastic. He's so happy-go-lucky, and you just can't hate the guy except for Superman because he's upstanding. He's grandstanding him, you know?
Yeah. So.
Fucked.
So, I think there's two possibilities about Superman's character right here. That this says. One, Superman is great, he's the Boy Scout, but he hates Lex Luthor so much that Captain Marvel is tainted by that.
Or here's what I saw.
Yeah,
remember,
go for it.
Specifically what Batman said to him, saying, because you're the Boy Scout, and he goes, but I thought I was the Boy Scout, Yeah. There's a bit of longing right there. As if to say, yeah, he was being replaced.
Yeah, I think that's the other option, that we hate most our own faults and others, that Captain Marvel was kind of nosing into Superman's territory, and Superman got defensive about his territory, which is a very natural human thing to do.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I think that says much nicer things about Superman's character.
Like what?
But I'm going to try and see if I can find evidence for 1 and 2 as we go forward. I think there's definitely a lot of evidence for number 2 in the first introduction scene, where Captain Marvel rubs Superman the wrong way.
Oh, yeah, no, he rubs him right the fuck off. He is just absolutely, there is
Please don't send us any Captain Marvel Superman fan fiction.
Oh, yeah. I've already found all of it.
So, yeah, that's something I don't want to see. For many, many reasons. So, Superman then gets a call from Dr. Hamilton, who we know is in Cadmus, but Superman doesn't, which is just fantastic dramatic irony.
Oh, right.
That, the scene works on its own if you haven't been watching the series, if you're just coming in for this episode.
Mm.
But if you have seen it, it builds on the story arc.
Right.
And it's just fantastic. And it hints somewhat where this is going.
Oh yeah, right. Which is what I was about to say. Like, I really enjoyed the fact that a lot of what Batman, Superman was jumping to conclusions, and a lot of what Batman was talking about was very, very well put.
Yeah.
He said, when do you jump to conclusions? What if someone else is behind this? It's too obvious.
Yeah.
I need to go and look for more evidence. So a lot of what Batman did right there was very well put, and as we can see what happens later on, it certainly worked out.
Yeah. So Superman.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. So Dr. Hamilton says they stole kryptonite, weapons grade kryptonite, which is kind of cool. But it also leads me to ask, how much kryptonite is there?
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
There's an indescribable amount of kryptonite.
Supposedly kryptonite is the leftover parts of Krypton.
Yep.
So, assuming a planet explodes in a roughly spherical fashion.
Spherical.
That must mean that Krypton is very close to Earth. For it to be done that way. Or Krypton would have had to explode just in the direction of Earth. So that like 80% of Krypton landed on Earth. For there to be this much kryptonite.
It's just like a shit ton of meteors flying down and breaking into Earth.
Seriously, was the 60s in the DC universe just like a horrific time period where meteors killed hundreds of thousands of people?
I don't know. One of my biggest questions there was the fact that like no one really questioned that they had weapons grade kryptonite.
Well, in Superman the Animated Series, they had to make weapons grade kryptonite because Superman got brainwashed by Darkseid.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, like, having a nod to another show or to another story is one thing, but when that nod can almost completely throw off what was going on there and is a little bit unsettling to the point that it really needs to be explained, then you might have a little problem. Because, like, that's a really big giveaway that they're doing something fucked up. They had weapons-grade I keep wanting to say plutonium. They had weapons-grade kryptonite, and no one said anything about it.
No, you're right. That's weird.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing that people have.
Yeah. So, that was weird. But I think that was normal. I think people would have weapons-grade kryptonite. I thought that made sense. So, Batman investigates the situation. Superman, though, knows who it is. It's Lex Luthor.
Oh, yeah.
But Batman wonders. The burglary, it's sloppy.
Yeah.
And
it's like he wanted someone to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The tech is LexCorp, but anyone could have gotten it. In this scene, unfortunately, there's a lot of evidence for Superman being tainted by his hate for Luthor.
Right.
Which says some not so great things about him. That's unfortunate, but...
Yeah, the guy that's supposed to be shouting peace, equality, and justice kind of has a really heavy bias out. But, I mean, like, can you blame him?
No, I think it's fair. I think it's a fair bias, considering the guy's track record. You know, burn me 12 times, shame on me.
But then that's another thing, if you think about it. Like, can you blame him because it's Lex Luthor? But isn't that his job? Like, he has to have everyone have a fair trial. He has to give everyone the benefit of the doubt until he can prove otherwise.
Yeah.
But, like, there's a little bit more to that. Because, superheroes aren't really held down by the law. They're held down by their own standards that they want to keep, so they kind of can break around the law. And it's like, if they could do that, aren't they a little too powerful? And then that goes back to what Batman was saying. It's like, then you really think about it, you kind of agree with him. Batman may really have had something going on there. If Superman can't keep it together with Lex Luthor, and I feel like this is a bit of the reason why Batman was very precise in, like, pegging him down and pegging Superman down when he was talking about that.
Yeah.
Like, Batman, I think, was thinking about the long run. He was trying to sway Superman into thinking of the big picture, trying to work around this, not letting his best friend go down the dark side path, and become a crazed psychopathic murderer.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, this is a bit of I may be looking into this with a magnifying glass when I should be, taking a long step back and looking at it. But I feel like the writing for this scene was really intent on displaying the fact that Batman was very well aware of Superman's kind of slow descent into his bias over Lex Luthor, kind of tainting his views on what a superhero should and can do.
Yeah.
And, that was... If you think about it like that, I mean, if you put anything on a pedestal, it'll be a grandstand fucking golden thing, whatever. But just thinking about the writing and that in-depth and, how much of an effect it actually has, this episode was amazing. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I'm putting it on a pedestal, definitely. It could be a turd, but it's a golden shining turd to me right now. But oh my God. That was just some amazing writing.
I think that's really well said, Elliot.
I'm just gushing right now.
You just said better my next 2 paragraphs of stuff to say.
You might want to
I'm pretty pumped about that.
There's just a wave of gush coming out.
Oh, I thought it was well said.
Thank you.
So Batman puts a jab in about Superman being paranoid, and he gets the Atom to look over it.
Yes.
So, because of what Batman said, Superman goes to Lex Luthor's event, which is called Lexer City, which I thought was kind of cool. Because, wait. In the comics, Lex Luthor goes to a planet and he helps them out. And they actually are so grateful they rename his planet Lexor.
Oh, really?
So it's a reference to that, and then that planet actually then despises Superman as a sort of devil figure.
Right.
And has Lex Luthor as their wise, benevolent god.
Oh, yeah.
And he actually gives up supervillainy to rule over those people, and he does a really good job.
Huh? Really?
Until the planet is accidentally destroyed.
Oh, okay.
Which causes...
I'm sure it was a really small accident. I'm sure there was some good reason for it.
It was somewhat Superman's fault.
Somewhat Superman's fault.
So, long story short, because of that, Lex Luthor declares eternal revenge on Superman.
Yeah, I would be pissed.
Yeah.
I would be pissed too if you just blew up my, my project planet. My hobby car.
I mean, he gave up everything to help these people, but that's not in the DC animated universe.
Right.
That's just a comic book reference to it.
I don't know. I thought the naming was really stupid and dumb, and I hated it. But if it's a reference in that kind of sense, then it's all right a bit, I guess.
It also, you can read it a second way in that it just shows that even when he's doing good, he's gonna put his name on it.
Yeah.
He's too arrogant not to put his name on it.
He's so egotistical.
Yeah. So, and not just his family name. His first name. So everyone knows it was him, not his ancestors. I don't know, I thought that was nice.
I just, just the fact that it's called Lex City. What is it, Lex City?
Lexer City.
Lexer City. It's just oh my God. How are there not, people picketing that? How are there not, millions of online posters just screaming at the bit?
It was 2005, there wasn't so much internet yet.
Yeah. There's no Tumblr yet.
Yeah, there was not Tumblr.
Not enough people to scream and yell.
So, Lex Luthor gives a really cheesy speech at the event, which fools everybody but Superman.
Oh my God. Superman is shooting daggers into the back of his head. I'm pretty sure you could have cooked an egg on his skull with how much just fiery rage Superman was shooting down. He had such a scowl, and Lex Luthor was just, could you blame him though? And that is could you blame him when Lex was absolutely pouring it on so hard.
Oh, he was pouring it on.
I thought he was gonna start crying. I thought
He does.
Does he?
Yeah, he does. He goes, sorry.
I
He wipes away a tear and then goes, "This is the greatest day of my life."
Yeah. Oh, I think I must have missed him
so smarmy and fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's this is the greatest day of my life. Who says that?
Nobody sincere ever.
Lou Gehrig? Lou Gehrig, right?
Um,
Like, this is the
no,
greatest
he
day
says
of my...
I'm the
Oh,
luckiest
no, I am
man
the
on earth
luckiest
because
man in the
that
world.
man is
On earth.
pure, unadulterated class.
Yeah.
Lou Gehrig is awesome. So,
Yeah. All right.
taking my Yankee fandom aside,
like, absolutely, yeah.
so
Jesus Christ.
Lex Luthor then is pulled aside by an aide who says T-minus 6 minutes, and Luthor says, make sure my escape route's ready. Because,
Right.
you know, Superman doesn't
That
have
wasn't
super hearing or
ominous.
anything.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So then that causes Superman to look around, and then he sees a lead-lined machine with a time clock.
Uh-huh.
And then he basically causes the area to evacuate, and props to everybody who was smart enough to listen to Superman there. And when he said, get out of here, they ran.
Yep.
Except for Lois Lane, who's like, how can I help? And he's like, getting out of here. And then she ran.
Because she loves him.
Yeah, it was kind of awesome.
But, like, the thing
I
was...
thought that was a nice moment between the two of them.
Oh, yeah. The thing that I couldn't stand the most, but, like, slowly start to be okay with it, was the fact that Superman goes ballistic and starts ripping apart to find the supposed bomb.
Yeah.
And starts ripping apart the little playground that they just made. Like, how classic stupid evil. You know, what a way to make Superman look like such a dick is he starts ripping apart a children's playground. It was so stupid and so sappy. But that's the thing. It was supposed to be like that. To really hammer in how Lex Luthor was playing him the whole time. And how Superman was going ballistic. Because he was losing his mind. He's like, I gotta find this thing. And he starts ripping the thing apart, like piece by piece. He was going mad.
Yeah. Yeah, he does go a little bit mad, but you can see why he would make that mistake.
Oh, yeah, no, of course.
So,
I definitely see that.
Lex Luthor tries to quote-unquote explain that it's a fusion reactor that uses kryptonite. Which, okay, this is so stupid. One, they have no idea how fusion works. Fusion, you take small things and make them bigger. Krypton isn't an element, one, because it's parts of a planet, so kryptonite could be anything from... It could be anything on the periodic table. Kryptonite isn't one specific thing if we assume it's part of the planet.
Jordan. I
feel
feel
like if we're assuming it's that, it's going to have, even if it is monotonous, then it's going to have a high atomic number. You combine in fusion hydrogen. Although I will say in their defense, it does appear that the machine actually does use a tokamak, which is generally, it looks kind of like it has a couple of rings there that could be a couple tokamaks. So it looks something like a fusion machine of the future might look like.
Jordan, you missed the biggest point of this. It's that Lex Luthor is sciencing really hard and made this machine, and you coming in with your fancy logic, we don't need that. We just don't need that at all. Come on, just let the guy have his machine. He's gonna fuse kryptonite together to make more kryptonite, and clearly that's going to power all of Luxor City, whatever.
Yeah.
Luxembourg.
No, you're right. He's gonna totally science.
Yeah, he's gonna science really hard.
But fusion is really interesting, so they should have actually done their research. Continuing on. If they had just said fission, it would have worked. But then they couldn't have put it under a playground.
I mean, like, this is the episode where they don't have kings on a chessboard.
That is true.
So I feel like a lot of the small things weren't exactly as important. They were very much overlooked.
Yep.
All the small.
Captain Marvel wants to call in other superheroes to verify, but Superman doesn't give in. So he and Captain Marvel have to fight. And in their fight, they destroy all of Luxor City.
Oh my god.
And it's a real clash of the Titans.
If you're a fan of Godzilla or any kind of, major city destruction thing, any monster battle like this is going to really raise your jimmies here.
I was looking forward to this fight so much. This is like a Clash of the Titans, a big heavyweight boxing match.
Yeah.
I didn't really like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I really wasn't looking forward to this episode in general, because I hate the way that this story is. Once again, I hate the good guy knows that the bad guy's evil, but no one else knows, and the good guy has to go through fucking hoops just to prove it. And then everyone's like, "Oh wait, you were right." I hate that idea. I hate that story. It's been played to death, and it's so we have to wait for the ending to happen. But the way they went through it and the action that happened was so worth it. They beat the shit out of each other. They go back and forth, trading blows, ripping through buildings. Superman rips a bank vault, safe, whatever, out of a wall and just starts slamming goddamn Captain Marvel through the dirt, and you see the damage. You see them getting hurt, and one of the things that I love about what happened here is the fact that whenever a new superhero comes in, we haven't seen them, whenever a new superhero, supervillain, whatever, and they always beat the shit out of the main character because, they have to look intimidating, even though the main character is Superman and he's OP as all hell. But what happened here was Captain Marvel and Superman fought, and Captain Marvel got the shit kicked out of him. But
it was even.
No, it was not. For a good part of it, they were wailing on each other. But Superman was clearly superior.
Superman was definitely the superior too. There was no doubt in your mind that Superman was going to win that fight.
I loved that fact. Because, you saw Captain Marvel was, limping. Captain Marvel got back up every time, but you saw the damage.
Yeah.
He was getting the shit kicked out of him. And I really liked it.
Normally, this show does a really good job advancing the characters through fight scenes.
Yeah.
Which is it's a hard needle to thread, but they consistently do it excellently.
Yeah.
And they just didn't do that this time. I could describe this fight scene in 2 sentences.
What?
They fight and they destroy Lexer City.
Yeah, but the simplicity of it was what made it great. It was like watching a boxing match when you have no idea what true boxing is. When you don't really understand the plays, and when the guys, instead of feeling for each other, they just go straight into it.
That's why I always like middleweight fights better.
When they just fucking start slugging it out. It's the goddamn Titans, and every single hit is like an earthquake. They literally, at one point in time, shoot into each other. They slam into each other.
And it breaks all the windows. That was awesome.
Oh, God, all the windows shatter, and there's a cataclysmic blast, and it was nuts, and I loved it. It was some good fucking fighting. I will tell you that.
Well, I'm glad one of us liked it. So, because I was looking forward to that fight, and it just,
You felt disappointed?
Yeah. I think it's because I had high expectations.
No.
So, Superman stops the beam just before the countdown ends, and then they bring in the Atom, and they find out that Lex was telling the truth.
Yep. Well,
which, by the way, that means Lex Luthor solved cold fusion to get back at Superman.
Yeah.
You do realize that cold fusion is like what we've been working on for the past 60 years. If we ever discover cold fusion, it's going to revolutionize the world. It's going to make the world a paradise.
I don't think you understand how hard Lex Luthor was sciencing. He was sciencing really, really hard.
Okay? He did something that in the real world would be the biggest breakthrough of the century, just to get back at Superman as stage 1 of a 10-stage plan.
You're right.
Which
the next stage is curing cancer and world hunger.
That Lex Luthor is that awesome. It's like in Superman Red Son, where in 6 months doubles the economy twice, but that was only stage 1 of his nefarious plan.
Right.
I missed stage 1. Can we do it again?
Yeah. I really enjoyed buying a pool when I had nothing to begin with.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Excuse me.
So, that's everything about that is fantastic.
But, like, you missed the part where fucking Captain Marvel was using his Shazam to hurt Superman.
Yeah.
And, like, that
really magic affects Superman.
Because it's magic, yeah. I loved that, too. I was like, what was the most damaging thing to him? The magic! It wasn't even just, like, a lightning bolt thing that happened. It was fucking magic. And when Superman saw him for the first time, he really had that, like what the hell is going on face. But, like, since he was a kid, he didn't punch him or anything. He didn't, slap him, which would have probably broken his tiny neck.
Yeah.
He goes over and stops him from saying Shazam again. And he's like, all right, fight's over, kid.
Yeah. Oh, that was sweet. It was good Superman there.
Yeah, yeah. It seemed like he sort of regained a bit of himself right there.
Yeah. When he saw the kid. Kids are often our better angels.
Oh.
So.
How cute.
And they find out that it was Lex Luthor was telling the truth in front of all the press.
Oh.
So, bad day for Superman.
Oh my god. And Superman, like, I at this point, I very much expected him to just, like, freak out and run away. But he just kind of goes like, I'm sorry, we'll fix all the damage. It's like, that's not really gonna fix much. You did go around and blow up a lot of everything.
Yeah, now everyone knew that doesn't fly, and then Lex Luthor drives the knife in more by saying, this one's on me.
Oh no, don't worry, Superman. It was my fault. I failed to mention the massive fusion regenerator that was going to provide energy and free, healthcare to all the low-income families, and it was going to save their lives, but it's okay, Superman. I forgive you. And it's just like, oh my god, gag me with a fucking spoon.
But it's brilliant. It's smart, and it's brilliant, and it's so Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
So,
oh my god, no, he was drowning in it, in his own ego right there. On the inside, I'm pretty sure he was fucking fighting the urge to jump up in the air and do that little heel click thing.
Yeah. So, on the Watchtower, Captain Marvel hands in his resignation. He gives a speech to the steering committee. His dreams are crushed. He accuses them of not being heroes anymore.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. That line, he could have just dropped the mic right there. He's like, you guys don't know what... What did he say again? It was like, you forgot what being heroes is?
Yeah, that's what he says.
Something?
Yeah, no, that's what he says.
That line. That was so powerful.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it hit them, too. Like, Superman probably, like, held back a tear. Look at his face. He was just very, like, aww. He looks away. He looks away from Captain Marvel. He's like, I don't know, I can't look at you.
Yeah, Superman looks away. He's deeply, deeply ashamed of himself, which speaks well to him. Because he should be ashamed. Oh, and his shame does him credit.
Yeah.
And
see how good his...
In the end, for all he did in this episode, he is the person who feels shame when he does wrong. And that's what separates him from the villains.
Right.
That he might make mistakes, but he knows right from wrong, and when he's wrong, he owns his mistakes.
Right.
So, he's readying himself for a serious pity party here now, but Batman drops a bomb.
Oh, yeah.
They set us up. And
Superman's like, yeah, wait a minute, they?
And we cut to a shadowy penthouse, where we have the big reveal. Amanda Waller and Lex Luthor are in league with one another. And they planned the whole thing. Dun dun dun!
Oh my god.
Which was such a great twist.
Yeah.
Everything about that's awesome.
I mean, like, to some, it's really not a twist. You can expect the bad guys to work together, in a way.
But here's the thing, like, the show had been so episodic that you didn't know the two storylines were going to intersect.
Right.
Now that I'm older, like, I can see all the breadcrumbs that they left, but I'm not sure I would guess it even now.
As a kid, like, the big bad guys were working together.
Yeah. Because in 2005, you didn't expect that level of serialized storytelling.
Right.
You expected a regular episodic storytelling. Maybe a two-parter here or there, but nothing like a multi-season arc like what they're trying here.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty bold, and I really like it.
Yeah.
And it makes Amanda Waller even more terrifying that she's on equal terms with Lex Luthor.
Oh, yeah.
That she might be the only human, aside from Batman, who can compete mentally. Those three people. They might be the smartest three people on Earth.
Or maybe Amanda Waller is actually playing Lex Luthor for a fool this entire time.
I think Amanda Waller and Lex Luthor both think they're playing the other.
Yeah.
I think with their characters, they've never entered in a relationship in their life that they don't think they're playing the other one.
Right.
Like, neither of them could ever get married. Because you've got to treat your spouse like an equal. And they don't believe they have an equal.
Oh, yeah.
Or there could theoretically be an equal of them.
No other person exists in this world that is as good as I am.
I really think that's how, certainly Lex Luthor thinks.
Oh,
Amanda
definitely.
Waller might have a little bit more humility. She might consider herself on the level with Batman and Lex Luthor.
Right. I get that.
But yeah, it was nice. And they break open the champagne and they say it was all a plot. So we know Superman's the good guy.
Wait. Just the thing for the kids, though, is if you notice, there's an apple on that bottle.
I did notice that. That's funny.
Yeah. So they're not drinking alcohol. It's just purple apple juice. Don't worry, guys.
That sounds like something that would be on like an American dub of a Japanese show. Where they were drinking wine in the original, but the American animators were like, no, they're not.
Yeah. That would have been really funny. Yeah, so that's the big reveal, the dun-to-duns, and it seems to be like everything that the Justice League fears most is suddenly starting to come to fruition.
Yeah.
What will come of this great union, this terrifying pair?
I would love to see the voter demographics of people in the DC universe who would vote for Lex Luthor. Like, I've got to imagine it would look something like a combination of Trump voters and Clinton voters. Like, he'd have a coalition of really well-educated people who are really liberal, and then that sort of part of the Republican Party that always votes for business people and who thinks business experience is really important. And he would kind of stitch those two together to form his base.
Yeah, because he doesn't have anything in regards to culture-wise. You know, like, he's just evil, but he's not racist.
Yeah.
I'd vote for him.
I mean, here's the thing. If he wasn't going to backstab you, he'd probably be an excellent president.
Right, yeah.
As long as your interests coincide, he'd be the best president in U.S. history.
Yeah, no,
but
I mean,
his interests in the U.S. diverge, he'd sell you to China in a heartbeat.
If you could truly
Not
believe
that they have the money, but, you know.
I am going to bury you. If you truly believe that he turned over a new leaf,
yeah.
Like if he's not evil anymore, he would most definitely do a lot as president. Like, I mean, guy made his own company and runs it fucking well. He's gotten out of jail so many times, and he's like absolutely a genius.
Yeah.
So you can clearly tell he would legitimately make a lot of really good changes, and culturally too. There's nothing wrong with him. Unfortunately, he's evil. So There you go.
Unfortunately, he's evil.
Yeah.
But he would probably be a really good president. He was a really good president in Superman Red Son. Probably the greatest president in fake American history.
Fake American history.
And fake Lincoln was a really good fake president.
Oh, man, fake Lincoln. He won my vote. You remember that time where fake Lincoln killed off all those vampires?
He did. And that was right after he strangled John Wilkes Booth.
Oh, yeah. No, he deflected the bullets off of his
his top hat.
Yeah, his top hat, yeah. Off of his wife.
Yeah. So, besides the total awesomeness that is our future Lincoln storyline,
Fake future Lincoln.
Yes, fake future Lincoln.
So about that question of the day.
Yes. What do you think about Superman? Do you think
yes.
he comes out looking better or worse from this episode?
In all honesty, I'd say there's a combination of both.
I think that's fair.
In the beginning, we most definitely see the worst side of Superman. We see him angry, almost to the point of jealousy. He's very bitter about Captain Marvel's existence. He's very bitter. It looks like he feels like he's being replaced, and he's not too happy about that. He's very bitter about the whole thing with Lex Luthor. He's absolutely he's just bitter. He's just absolutely mad, and there's like no one else in the world that isn't a superhero that sees it the way he does. He's trying to protect, the common person, and all right now the common people like Lex Luthor and Captain Marvel, and these two people that he can't stand. So he is losing his freaking mind. So it's a bit understandable as to why he was very aggressive in the beginning, but once again we see that's not his greatest period, or his not his most what do you call it?
It's not his true self.
Not that it's not his true self. What is it? It's not his shining moment or strongest moment.
Yeah.
It's not his strongest moment. Because after that, what we see is him getting smacked around pretty much and learning from it. He's very much humbled by all of this. He understands he did quite wrong by what happened, and should have maybe not blown everything up in front of news reporters. He should have kept a cooler head.
Here's the thing. Everything probably would have been fine if Captain Marvel hadn't tried to stop him. It would have been bad optics for him to blow up the experimental reactor, but I think a lot of people would have been understand why he did that.
I don't know. I would disagree.
It was the destroying of the city, I think, that really hurt him.
Oh, okay, yeah. Without the reactor, it would have been much less, because the destruction, watching him tear apart the city, was like pretty much watching Batman watch Superman tear apart the city in freaking not Man vs. Steel, Superman versus Batman.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the plot of the next movie coming out, where Batman thinks Superman is a threat. And, I can understand that. I don't exactly, I would not have been very happy with Superman watching him tear through a city that was just newly made. So
when you're a superpowered alien, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
You have to be above mistakes, because my tolerance for Superman is lower than it would be for someone like Batman.
Right.
That Superman has to be almost perfect. He's got to do everything, quote unquote, they'll quote is backwards and in heels.
Yeah, he's got to be as precise as fucking possible.
Yeah. So, but I think in the end, he takes his responsibility seriously.
Yeah.
And in many ways, he's the most human of all the superheroes. Which I kind of like.
I really enjoyed the puppy eyes that he gave. Where he was just so sad.
And his friendship with Batman, just really shown in this episode.
Right.
Which, it made me very happy.
Yeah. Batman was really, really keeping him sane. Batman had a really nice hold on Superman at that time, kind of keeping him in check. Sort of, I guess. Not really.
Yeah.
I don't know. What I mean is in terms of whenever Superman was going nuts, conversation-wise, Batman was in the room. We're gonna completely ignore what happened to the whole destroying the city thing. But when Batman was talking to Superman, he definitely he kept him in check. He told him, "You're jumping to conclusions. You're just mad because you feel like you're being replaced." It was, we found out that it was Lex Luthor and someone else was involved too. So, you don't have really that much to worry about. He was very much kind of covering for him, keeping him in emotional check. bringing him back to square one.
No, you're right.
To 0. He was good to him.
Yeah. So, where do you want to put this on the big list of every Justice League Unlimited episode?
So, here's the thing. I liked this episode. I thought it was okay. But I loved how they made it. I thought they did a really good job writing the episode.
They took
with the animation representing everything. So I in all honesty, I'm rate this episode very high.
I am too, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's better than The Initiation. Like this is an episode. Like it's that plot's done to death, of course, where the main character.
That's the thing. They kind of put a twist on it.
Yeah.
In the fact that usually it ends happily, but this ends with a clear victory by the villains, which was nice. You don't see that too often.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
It really, that was the thing. It really wasn't. It really was like all a good setup, but like then again, that was all Lex Luthor's plan to fuck with him the entire time, which was crazy. But
and
just like, oh my god, everything tied in together in the end, and it was so good. It was very, very, very well written. Leagues ahead of other episodes. So yeah, I would put this at number 3.
Cool. Actually, that's where I have it too. I think you kind of said what I felt. That this episode put a new twist on what is generally a really boring plot. And it was just enjoyable from beginning to end. I loved it.
Right.
I don't think it quite right now, my top 2 are sort of a tier of their own.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's kind of in between that top tier and then the next tier. So it's kind of in like an awkward place. It wasn't quite good enough to crack like the best episodes of the show.
I hear what you're saying.
But it was better than the really good episodes of the show.
Right, I understand that. I see what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. So...
I just like... I gotta take into account the fact that regardless of my bias over this certain episode and like the plot that they used, like I said, it's just that every element was on point here.
Yeah.
Every single they really brought their A game into this episode, and I really can't complain about it. So I gotta give them props, regardless of whether or not I thought it was whether or not I liked the story. It just really spoke to me.
Yeah.
It whispered sweet nothings in my ear.
Yeah, everything about this was serious quality, and it advanced the plot, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
With bludgeoning fists.
Yeah.
Sweet rage-induced fists.
So...
Got anything else to say, Jordan?
No.
Jordan? You're done? You're out? Peace? All right, well, that's that. All we have in regards to The Clash. You go off and watch it yourself, most definitely, and see whether or not my very well-deserved gushing was truly as deserved as it should be, or I just am clinically insane. You decide. And don't forget to stay beautiful.
Yes. Bye, folks.